Hello, my name's Mark Edel-Hunt and I am playing Alan Turing in the wonderful play Breaking the Code that starts here in Northampton in a few weeks and then goes to Oxford and Ilfracombe and Peterborough and Manchester and Liverpool, and I hope I haven't missed anywhere else. And yeah, having an amazing time here as we get into week 3. Yes, well, there is an epilogue that dear Mr. Bartlett has written, and that underlines some of those themes that we now, with a bit more history under our belt, know about. So the fact that Alan was gay, the fact that he was persecuted for that, really, the fact that he probably committed suicide. There are things now in our cultural reference, now that he's on the £50 note, that we just know a bit more about. And the epilogue underlines some of those things much more explicitly than the play does originally. I think the other thing it also underlines more explicitly is this connection between Alan and computing and thinking, what is thinking, and of course AI, which is now in our lives and hurtling towards us in a very profound way. So the epilogue pulls those two things out more explicitly. So it in a sense it's a biopic in that it starts very early on in his life and takes us all the way to the end. Of course, it doesn't cover everything in that time, but it does that jumping between different time zones, so it doesn't tell the story chronologically, and it puts moments of his life, for example, at Bletchley, or moments in his life during the trial next to each other in a way that perhaps illuminates and makes us think a little bit differently about what was going for him. This is very much a piece of live theatre. I mean, Jesse is creating a rehearsal room and a production that is all about actors being responsive and listening to each other. So we're not relying on big sets, we're not relying on big sound effects, music, any of that. It's very alive, very electric. Of course, we do things to move us from place to place, but in a sense, it's quite a subversively old-fashioned show, in that it's just about actors acting, which is just a delicious thing to be in. Yeah. There are 7 of us, right? Am I going to get that right? I hope I've got that right. Yeah, there are 7 of us. I'm in every day, and so my brain is slightly fried. But yes, there are 7 of us, and we get on really well. Just a really generous, thorough, brilliant group of actors, and it's because it's a very truthful play. It's about subtext, and it's about what's actually happening in the scene. What do these characters want from each other? And it's a play in the British tradition, in that it's a spoken play. It's a play of words. And everyone in the cast seems to relish both of those things. So it's fun. It's fun to be with everyone. I think one of the misconceptions, now that Alan is part of our, he's a stronger cultural reference point for us, either because of the film or just because of assumptions that have been made, that he's this awkward, shy, geeky man, which of course in some respects he was, but he was also very witty, very sarcastic, very sharp. He was a very sexual man. So I think it's easy to think that this will be a nerdy show about maths and sadness, and actually it's a lot more than that. I think different audiences will react in different ways. It's a really full, layered play, and it will leave people thinking and feeling on all kinds of levels. It's a brilliant play, and I think why it probably gets put on, every decade or so it turns up. So it's a good chance to see it. I'm half German, half English, and growing up with those two sides of me always meant that I felt this sort of split in a way, two different people. And I still think of myself now, I mean, I'm very much a British person. I live in London, and my life is here, although I still have threads that connect me to Germany, and whenever I go there I feel like I'm visiting this long lost twin, this ghost of a person who I once was or could have been. And so that sense of different personalities I think has always been inside me, and then that was underlined. I got scholarships. I come from a very working class family, but I got scholarships to posh schools, so again there was this split. I was the poor kid at the posh school, And then, of course, in the 90s, I was the gay kid at the very straight school. So there were all these divisions, I suppose, and acting, being in plays, was a place where I could speak, I think, and find a way of taking centre stage. So there was that was always in the background. But I think consciously what I wanted to do was go to art school. But I think because of the schools that I went to, that somehow didn't seem available to me. So I went to university and I read English and I did all that. And I was very fortunate at the time that tuition fees were still very minimal. And I was able to get 2 student loans, and I essentially did 2 bachelors. So I went to university and then I went to drama school after that, because it was at university, joining drama society and just doing play after play after play after play, that I thought, and this is something. I found a tribe here that I want to be part of. And yeah, and that's how it happened. So in a sense, quite a traditional route into it, I think. You know, I went to drama school, I got an agent in the last term, and then I got a little film role straight away in a film with Brideshead Revisited, which would be, gosh, almost 20 years ago now. And then I got a play, and yeah, that's what happened. You know, I went a very traditional route. Yeah. Yes, I love it. I love it. So in this play, I wake up at 7:30 in the morning and I am already thinking about the play, and I go all the way through to midnight and beyond. And I don't really feel like I'm working. But of course, this will end. This will stop in November, and then it will disappear. And of course that's sad, but it's also how it is, and then I'll do other things with my life, and then the next surprise will come along. I think acting as artists is an interesting journey because we rely completely on other people. Painters, composers, writers can get up in the morning and do their thing. We can't. And there's a great freedom and playfulness in that, but there's also potentially a frustration. So, yeah, live it when it turns up and then let it go, I think. Although, talk to me in November and I'm sure I'll be crying into my tea. But I love coming to theatres outside of London and working, because it becomes so total. You know, you're not going home to the gas bill and, oh, I've got to fix that and whatever. It becomes this real all-consuming thing. And sadly, because of the way we fund the arts in this country, it's becoming a rarer and rarer thing. But I love it. I love it. And it's really good to be doing it again. I think something needs to happen. Something needs to change about how we fund the arts, because this idea that it can be a purely money-making commercial exercise, it just doesn't work. You know, there's a reason why our theatrical output historically has been colossal compared to other countries, for example, even like America. And it's because we had a really properly subsidized theatre scene where fantastic directors could cut their teeth and learn stuff and then go on to direct those brilliant productions in the West End. But over the last 20 years, we've just hollowed that out, and that has to change. And I think the other thing that's interesting is, what about audiences? You know, we have, what was the competition for theatre? If it started with cinema and now it's become our phones, I don't know, I wonder, and maybe this is me being naively optimistic, as we get towards AI and digitalisation and everything being so digitally available, will there be a hunger for being in a room with something that is genuinely live, whether that be live music, and I'm not talking about big, massive stadium concerts, but live music in small venues, or theatre, where you witness human beings being with each other? I don't know, maybe we will hunger for that again. So my name's Mark, and I am going to be playing Alan Turing in the fantastic play Breaking the Code, and we're starting here in Northampton. We open in, I don't know, a couple of weeks, and then we go on a fantastic tour, including to places like Oxford, Liverpool, Manchester, and very much looking forward to it and hope to see you there.